There are so many who can just plain and simply just lie with a straight face and just turn things around and make you sound like you're the demented one. So I've experienced that in the past. I've experienced betrayals. I've experienced life. I've experienced competitiveness, rivalry, everything. I know a lot of actresses who are really great actresses today and are legends in their own right, but somehow I feel a lot of them have always just stuck to playing what they are in real life as well, and always been in their comfort zone. When I wanted to do a film like Shul, the director was convinced that I could, because when I spoke to him and stuff, when he came to sign me, he was convinced that was Nivas. But Ramu was the producer of the film, Ram Gopal Verma, and he was not convinced at all. And he told me, he said, Ravs, when I look at you now and I close my eyes, I can only see akhiyon se goli mare. I can't see you as Manjari. So that was the time that we were talking about it, and we as women felt so strongly about it.
I agree.
And till date there is not a strong law that protects women from domestic violence or marital rape. Yash was so unassuming and such a gentleman to work with. I love working down south as well. Long time ago, like again in 2000, I'd got an offer at that time from Oliver Stone. He was making Alexander the Great. And
Hello everyone and welcome to Pinkwilla. When I was thinking about the introduction for our guest today, a lot of her memorable performances popped up in front of me. She's really found the act in the actress. Yes, I'm talking about the gorgeous and supremely talented Raveena Tandon.
thank you so much.
Hello, but I mean each word what I said. I
So
really
sweet. I'm
do
touched.
believe in it.
I think, I've been sitting here and I've been getting so many good wishes and so much goodwill from all of you whom I've been meeting.
Of course.
That I think there's this, you're just spreading this really nice, positive vibration around Aranyak, and I'm so thankful.
Correct. And we've known you for so many years, so it's
Yes,
always
that
good
too.
vibes
That
that
too.
go towards you. And at the trailer launch, you said that you identify with your character Kasturi Dogra
Yeah.
a lot. And I agree because, both of you all have very strong personalities, tough, independent women. And correct me if I'm wrong, but, there's hardly ever been a time when we've seen the other side of you. And a lot of people tell me Raveena is very emotional. Is there a reason why you've guarded your vulnerability so much?
Maybe, yeah, you could say it was a defense mechanism because of the fact that I used to get hurt a lot, because I've always probably been the kind of person who's what you see is what you get. I would never want to lie to someone and say, oh, you're my best friend, and then turn around and say, oh my God, she sucks. I've never been like that. But I did not realize that the world is not like that. There are so many who can just plain and simply just lie with a straight face and just turn things around and make you sound like you're the demented one. So I've experienced that in the past. I've experienced betrayals. I've experienced life. I've experienced competitiveness, rivalry, everything. I think so automatically a defense mechanism kind of kicked into place, and there is, even when I was probably at my lowest, my favorite line was that I laugh the loudest when I'm at my lowest.
Wow.
And I've been saying this line since the 90s, and I like you said, it was probably a defense mechanism just that kicked in.
Sure. But 90s was a very beautiful time, but also very strange for actresses. And today actresses getting very, very powerful roles, solid roles. Did you miss that when you were acting back then? What was it about that time that you think, I wish it wasn't there?
Honestly, probably in the early 90s, but like I was telling someone, that films just happened to me. So there was never a planning of a career that, oh, I should do these kind of roles or that kind of roles. I think वो अक्ल मुझे बहुत late आई. But देर आए दुरुस्त आए वाली बात थी कि I did towards the late 90s started thinking that how long am I going to be just dancing in this mini skirt with two pigtails and, doing the same thing and playing the rich spoiled brat. And when is it that I'm going to evolve? And then slowly that evolving as an actor also within me happened, that little maturity that came in, and I made a conscious effort to do the kind of roles that then which would take me out of my comfort zone. I know a lot of actresses who are really great actresses today and are legends in their own right, but somehow I feel a lot of them have always just stuck to playing what they are in real life as well, and always been in their comfort zone, and they've always played themselves in every film. And that's when I realized that the versatility comes is when you play a Bihari housewife, or you play a Pahadi Himachali cop, or you play a Hyderabadi in another film, and then you play the rich spoiled brat in another film, which was very easy to play. There's no two ways about it, with exactly 3 dialogues, and then play a victim and a mother who's lost her daughter to rape, and then you play in whether it was Matra, and then you play a hardcore politician, and then you play the PM in a film like KGF, and then you do a film like Daman where you are victim of marital rape and domestic violence. So there is that score that you play,
Yeah.
of different characters, and then you realize that you can get into and you can push yourself beyond your the limitations that you think you've set for yourself.
Sure. But was there a time when you thought, the roaming around the trees is not my thing?
I love roaming around the trees.
Sure.
I'm a complete jungle person. I'm an Aranyak actually. Wildlife is my passion.
Yeah.
Wildlife photography is my obsession.
Yeah.
So for me, I love roaming around trees and singing and dancing, and give me the jhatka matkas even today. I'll kill it, dude.
I'm sure. I can vouch for it.
No, but I love that. I love music. I love dancing.
Yeah.
And no, I always knew that was also my thing, because I enjoyed it and I gave it my best. I love dancing and I love music. But I also knew that, like I said, that I have to get out of my comfort zone. So, and I'm happy and I'm grateful and I'm thankful to people who accepted me in that. See, it could have been very easily, अरे नहीं यार ये comedy picture नहीं कर सकती है, अरे नहीं यार ये realistic serious film नहीं करती. So it was known कि either you were doing comedy and अक्यों से गोली मारे, or you were doing only serious films at that time.
Did you get that a lot?
I did initially for Shul. When I wanted to do a film like Shul, the director was convinced that I could, because when I spoke to him and stuff, when he came to sign me, he was convinced that was E. Nivas. But Ramu was the producer of the film, Ram Gopal Verma, and he was not convinced at all. And he told me, he said, Ravs, when I look at you now and I close my eyes, I can only see Akhiyon se goli mare. I can't see you as Manjri Bhabhi. I just cannot see you as that. And that happened to me. We were doing the photo shoot of Shul, and Ramu came on the set a little late. I was dressing up in the dressing room, and I walked out in that look of mine, which I am in Shul. And I crossed Ramu, and Ramu looked at me and I said, "Hi Ramu, you finally arrived. Have you come?" So he gave me this very kind of a look and he crossed me. I was like, my God, he's really upset that I'm doing this film. He's really not happy. I went and stood in front of the camera and I was doing my stills, and suddenly I hear this sound from behind the camera. Oh my God, Raveena, that's you. I said, yeah, I just met you in the passageway. He said, shit, I didn't recognize you. Okay, this works, people. And that was it. And that's when I started doing Ghulam-e-Mustafa, Daman, and, all Satta and everything else after that, yeah.
And all brilliant films, Raveena. In fact, Kalpana Lajmi's Daman is one of my most favorite films. It's
And
also got you a
made
national award.
so many years ago.
Exactly.
At that time, during the national awards, I remember the lobby was so strong, but the thing that won in our favor, apparently, was that this was the only film made on marital rape.
Yes.
Which was not even discussed, and it is still probably taboo to be discussed in today's day and age. And that was made in early 2000 or 99.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So that was the time that we were talking about it, and we as women felt so strongly about it.
I agree.
And till date there is not a strong law that protects women from domestic violence or marital rape.
And before you did these films like Daman and Shul and Satta, there was a short break that you took. Do you regret that break?
No, I don't. I honestly, you know what? I don't regret anything in my life. I believe that everyone has this path, this destiny to follow. And if I would change anything, it's almost like a parallel life, right? I would change anything and redo it the way I should have. I probably wouldn't be here sitting in front of you doing this interview. I probably wouldn't have done Aranyak, because life probably would have changed in a different way. So for me, it's that path that destiny has to follow for you. You follow that path, and like I said, I don't regret anything, because today I'm probably at a point where I'm content with everything. I'm doing great work like Aranyak. I'm working with awesome people. I'm working with the Sippies again, which is such a pleasure to always work with. I'm working with Sid Roy Kapoor, Parambrata I'm working with. I've worked with Vinay Vaikulji and Ashutosh ji and the entire ensemble cast, Meghna Malik, Vivek Madan, Zakir Bhai, the kids who played my children, the boy who played Bunty. I mean, there's such amazing, awesome people that I met and I worked with.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's always what is meant to be happens.
You know, when the trailer of Aranyak ended, the first thing that came out of my mouth was wow. That was my basic reaction when I saw the trailer. And you know, as actors, you all have instincts. When you all are on the set, you all understand how the project is going when you all are shooting for it. What was that moment for you when you realized this is going well?
I never do. My problem is I never over expect, and I always actually underestimate. So when it actually comes there bang on for you, like I said even on stage at that time, that I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling of being pleasantly surprised rather than being disappointed. So
Sure.
for me, I'm always like, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to work as hard as I can, and then result, like I said even on stage over there, public sab janti hai.
Sure. You know, OTT is a very different space for all of us right now. And it's a growing business which India has started loving, but it's a long form content, which is very different from what we did earlier. Do you like this format? Do you like shooting?
I love this format. It is, yes, a tad bit more exhausting, but I love the format. See, it has its advantages. I think cinema has its advantages, and now OTT platform has its advantages. The way it's made, you can flesh out the character even in a more wholesome manner. You can put in the nuances. You can create the longevity of the character for people in their minds to absorb exactly what the character is, and then boom, give them what is meant to be. Which probably you cannot encapsulate so well in a 2-hour film, because if in a 2-hour film there are like 15 main characters, you don't have that much time to establish each 15 of those characters. You've got to work in a faster pace, which is also a great advantage to a certain extent. But I think this works out also very well.
I don't want to elaborate on KGF 2 because I know you can't speak a lot about it, but your look is kick-ass. How is it working on that film?
It's been really awesome. Prashant is such a pleasure to work with. Yash was so unassuming and such a gentleman to work with. I love working down south as well.
Yeah.
I love my South Indian industry. I did a Telugu film also just before KGF. It was Pandavlu Thumira.
Yes.
And I loved working with all of them. There was Vishnu, there was Mohanji, there was everybody, and I just completely loved it.
Sure. You know, I don't know if you know, and we were just speaking about Shool. Do you know the remake rights are with SRK? Shah Rukh Khan has the remake
Shool?
rights of Shool.
Wow.
And there have been talks of Andaz Apna Apna being remade for
That's
a very
been
long
forever,
time.
but but I heard Raji say in some interview that he'll, if he ever makes the remake, it'll be all 4 of us originally again.
Yes.
Which is so sweet of him.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
should be, otherwise how do you make Andaz Apna Apna without your presence? But what do you think about these remakes? Do you think it should be made?
I don't really know. I feel once a classic is made, it's made. Like, you still sit back and watch Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi. You still sit back and watch Padosan.
Yeah.
And that humor is the same. And you still, want to watch a Khel Khel Mein. And it's just, sometimes I feel, I don't know whether the remakes will ever reach, because the expectations are so high then.
Yeah.
And then there's always the comparison.
I was checking your Instagram and there's a picture with Al Pacino, Clint Eastwood, and you in an interview with us, you recently said that you've been getting a lot of Hollywood offers as well. Why aren't you taking it up?
So see, long time ago, like again in 2000, I'd got an offer at that time from Oliver Stone. He was making Alexander the Great. And and I had the script and everything, and Mehra and me, I didn't know, much what I'm supposed to say or what not. So Rakesh Mehra and me were working on Aks at that time. So I said, Mehra, I have a meeting with him, you come with me. So I dragged Mehra along with me, and Mehra and me went and met Mr. Oliver Stone, and it was a very great, interesting conversation with him and stuff, but somehow that didn't materialize. And for me, there were scenes and stuff in it, and Mehra was like, you say yes, say yes, say yes. And I was like, dude, if there are scenes in something that I'm not comfortable doing, and if I've not done here, why would I go there and do it?
Sure.
And it's just something that was not in my comfort zone. But now there's some really interesting projects that are coming up, which is slightly in my comfort zone. In fact, I was just recently offered even another project which is being made. But unfortunately, again, I couldn't do that because Hong Kong was under lockdown and 14 days you needed to be there and you couldn't come to and forth, and they wanted 3 months at a go. So there are some times where I let go of things because it doesn't suit my pattern of the way that I want to do things. So it's not the hunger. I'm very happy where I am as well.
Yeah.
If I get something that falls into place the way it is meant to be, like how it happened with Aranyak, I will definitely do it. There's no two ways about it.
Is there anyone in Hollywood you want to work with?
You know what? Patrick Dempsey. I suddenly realized, and Robert Browning. Robert Downing Jr. Yeah.
Oh,
Why
wow.
did I say Robert Browning? I was thinking about the poet.
But I think it will be a great cast.
Yeah. I love these two guys completely.
Lovely. I can't wait to see you to do that. But any last words on Aranyak? Anything that you want to say to the audience?
Well, what I would like to say to the audience कि आइए हमसे मिलिए सिरोना में. हम आ रहे हैं 10 दिसंबर को सिरोना को आपके पास लेकर, ओनली ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स. तो प्लीज़ देखिएगा ज़रूर और हमारे साथ जुड़ जाइए. हम अरण्यक तो हैं ही, आप भी अरण्यक बन जाइए. इट गोज़ लाइक दिस. सिरोना आइए ना. हम दिखाएंगे. I can't get that evil look now.
But thank you so much, Avina. This was a
Okay.
lovely conversation. All
Thank
the best for Aranyak and everything you're doing in the future.
Thanks a lot.